Choose your journey. It's time. It's time to walk the path to peace. Elevate your potential and become a beacon of positive change. Your path brought you here for a reason. Dive in. Embrace the power of collective growth and unlock the masterpiece of your life. The path to peace awaits.
Ready for Gaia?
How can we be resilient in a world that's growing more volatile by the day? How can we thrive?
Don't buy into the fear. It's about waking up.
Explore the world's largest library of conscious media with thousands of films and original programs.
People all over the planet are waking up.
Gaia is ready for you.
We can adapt our lifestyle to this time of extremes.
For the seekers.
Inside, he was able to detect the fetus of some creature. It is clear by scientists that it's something different. It is not human.
The wanderers.
In ancient times, the Atlanteans were said to have an advanced technology and power supply based on crystals.
The dreamers.
My dream is to help people understand how the universe operates, so that each person can find their own unique purpose within the cosmic plan.
And the doers.
Thoughts can have an effect on your brain, your body, and your life. And I'm going to show you how to rewire your mind, your heart, and your body.
For those who dare to travel their own path.
Our potential to access the supermind is no longer simply theoretical. How can we hack our history to change our future?
We are meant to learn again and again in this life that truth does indeed set us free.
Now we are proposing a new beginning, a new history for human beings.
Hey, it's great to be here with everybody, and happy holidays wherever you are and however you celebrate and how things move forward. And I just want to take a moment and say everything is amazing. And I'm excited to be here with Gaia, and thank you for the partnership and everything that has gone. You've got so many different videos. You can go and practice yoga and start meditating and doing all those different things. So grateful for the relationship that we've developed and looking to continue into all the many moments to come, as the next time we'll be here will be New Year's Day. And so I'm excited for everything to come in that way. And I just want to take a moment. No matter how you celebrate, there's something that is greater than all of us. Nobody has sat there and made themselves. So something had to do that for us. Whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. And I just want to make sure that we take this time, because pretty much around the world at this time, people are taking time to celebrate it in some way. And so we're going to just pause for a moment, take a few breaths together, and then we'll go ahead and get this thing started. So just go ahead and pause where you are. Begin to get still. And notice your breathing. Simply how your breath moves in and out of your body. Take a moment, take your awareness into your heart. You start to notice the beats of your heart. And the vibration that starts each heartbeat. And there you have it. No matter where we are, we can always pause and say, okay, how do I go in? How do I go in and look at myself? And that's what this show is really about. It's about creating peace wherever you are that then begins to touch everybody else too. So as we've gone through in these last couple months, and as we continue into this month and into the next month and keep going, because we're going to keep doing this. You know, this is an opportunity for everybody to continue to embark on the path to peace. And tonight we're talking about business because that's what we do on the 4th week of the month. We talk about business and how we can bring peace into that place of business for all of us. That's just how we're operating. We're operating in this place that says, oh, we have to do something in order to receive something back so that we can survive. We've created that pattern for ourselves. And so right now, let's go ahead and talk about that and see how we can continue to bring peace forward in business. And we're going to bring Pam and Jennifer on and get this thing started with you all and continue to recognize how we're moving peace. Hey, how you all doing? You both have to unmute.
Good, good. Happy holidays to everybody.
Awesome.
Good here. Wishing everyone a wonderful holiday season.
I love it. I love it. We all look festive. We got different colors and different patterns and different things around us. And really like your background, Pam. It's that's your house, correct?
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It just looks really pretty. And same thing with Jennifer. That's your background in your house and sitting in front of your wall. And so it's awesome to be here with both of you and continue to look at just how everything's going. You know, how are things going in your life? Pam, go for it. What's going on? What's new? How are things moving?
You know, Sid, 2023 has been a year of immense growth for me, and they're going really well. And they're really well incorporates the challenges that I faced, the reflections on myself, places where I've learned to step back and reflect and determine is this where I want to be and who I want to be with type of thing. And I'm not talking about my husband right now, so he knows. But it's been a tremendous year of growth. And, you know, it started with kind of some thoughts you put out there in some of our leadership meetings. And it went from there into my real life. And it went into months and months of rediscovering myself by putting things aside that should have never been contaminating my space to begin with. So I'm doing really good. And, you know, a couple of my words this year for 2023, my words were ease and playfulness. And they have worked really well for me. So I'm going to carry those through, and they're going to be I'm going to use those as my same words in 2024. So thanks for asking.
I love it. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And Jennifer, you know, it's kind of this time of year where we're looking at things in reverse and saying, okay, where do we want to go next? How has it been for you, 2023?
2023 has been full of challenges, but good challenges. I mean, moving out of our comfort zone is how we grow. So 2023 has been a very difficult year, but also difficult in a good way because it pushed me to really sit still and be still. I had somebody say, Jennifer, I feel your struggle. I see you. Just be still. And in that stillness is where I really found who I was. And I thought that in the last 5 years I had done so much work on myself and didn't realize how much further I had to go until, you know, the good Lord brings in more beautiful people that show me another step to go. And that's kind of where I'm going. And 2024 looks even more beautiful than 2023 was.
I love it. I love it. And we're going to get into these questions. I really am excited about this conversation because this is a time of year where pretty much everywhere people are in a holiday space of and even recognizing that we're moving into a new year. Like that's just it's a universal thing. No matter how people are practicing it, what they're doing, there's a pause in this space pretty much for everyone in the world. And so as we look at that and people here in this country have an opportunity to go home, right? Like to be at home, at least for a few days, no matter how much time they have away from work, to be at home and look inside themselves and hopefully finding peace at home. So, what does that look like? And we'll start with you, Pam. What does that look like to say, okay, I'm now home? And even if you're working from home, hitting that pause button and saying, okay, where do I go from here? What's that look like for you?
It looks like a respite. It feels good, like to give myself that space around me in order just to feel what's been happening and not to have a schedule, a normal schedule of not running here, running there, but having commitments to do many things. You really do get to step back from the routine daily schedule. And while it has its merits other times of year, it's really nice now. And for me, there's more time to journal. There's more time to reach out to people that I haven't spoken to in a long time. There's time to set aside for people who need to just somebody to keep them company. And so I recognize some people who stay in, try to get in touch very often and making sure that I'm paying attention to them right now. Thank you.
I love that. And I love the idea of connecting because it is the pause to me is a great time to reconnect, one with myself first, and then also to reach out to other people. And for me, what makes it easy, whether it's in business or in my personal life, what makes it truly easy for me has been if something comes up in my thought, if I hear someone's name, if I think about them, or if I see something go by or whatever, those are things that are for me, those are signposts to say, okay, what am I looking for and how do I move forward into it? So if somebody's name or something comes up that reminds me of somebody, I'm automatically going to reach out to them and say, hey, what's going on in your life? How can we connect? And when I reconnect to somebody, I'm always looking for, all right, how can I help establish more peace from where we were? However it comes, for me, when people circulate back into my life, that's when it's time to reconnect and say, okay, let me look at me. Where have I gone? How have I moved forward? And what can we open up to going forward? Because it's all about evolving. And evolving looks like how can I be at peace no matter what is happening outside of me so that I can stay connected. So that's really awesome. And thank you for bringing that up. And Jennifer, how's this land for you, when you're going home?
Uh, how does it land for me? Well, I
Yeah.
agree with what Pam had to say. I love this time of the year. It is a pause, but it's a very festive time, and it's a time to reconnect with that playfulness because we get so wrapped up in our work and our daily life that we forget to sit still and really reconnect with that inner child essence. I love Christmas time. It is the time that I get to see my family and my grandchildren and just be playful and be in the moment with my family when usually it's just typical conversation where now we're having fun and we're playing games and visiting friends. And when you brought up, it was really kind of ironic that you brought up how you think about people and they pop into your thought process. And I'll tell you, in this opportunity for growth for me has been really a weird kind of, I don't know. I can't even explain it honestly. People that I haven't seen or thought of or may have not had the best ending or closure to a relationship or friendship have just kind of reappeared in my life. And it's fun, and it's really interesting to see how people have moved and evolved and how much I've changed just in the interaction that we have. But um I really love this time of the year. I really believe that it's a really great time for us to just kind of regroup and get back in tune with our playfulness and the essence of who we were. I mean, as a matter of fact, I had seen today, it was a post that I reposted on my social media. It was about an older lady, and it was looking in the mirror of a child, and it said something to the effect that that woman doesn't feel a day over her childhood, but her appearance changed, but inside she still feels childlike. And that, we have to remember that when we see elderly people, they don't feel their age, or, they don't grasp the fact that this is where they're at. I guess if that doesn't make any sense, but I guess you'd have to read the post. But it's really a fun time. I love it. I love to be I'm the giver, the gift giver, and love giving gifts, and don't like getting gifts, but I do it. But, it's a good time.
I love that. And what's coming up for me as you were sharing is this space of being able to find peace in me. And now how do I share that, especially in my house? And even during this time where people are in this place of, there's people that have lost people in their lives. There's people that may have lost their job right before this season. There's all different types of stuff. And I've been with people that have come to me like, hey, I just lost my job. What am I going to do? Well, for me, something that comes up is like, if I have a problem and I have a solution, do whatever the solution is. If I have a problem and I don't know the solution, do nothing until I have a solution. So really, even in this space, no matter what's going on, unless somebody's dealing with a real threat, like something is happening right now and it's life or death. If not, it's created in your mind. And so then it's like, okay, pause, let that space that's in your mind show up, and now see, where do I go next when it's time? So I love taking this time. For me, is always, this is the furthest away from the sun of where I was born. Like the sun was June 26th for me. And then now we're here on this space on the whole other side. And it's always been a sense of feeling inside of me that says, okay, things are calmer, things relax into it. I move with the seasons. Like June 26th, it's the summer. By the time we get over here to the winter, I'm just like a bear. It's time to hibernate. That's why I moved to Florida, so I could be a little warmer, even in my hibernation time. So it's like that, like really taking the time to say, okay, where am I now? Is there a problem? Can I handle it? If so, handle it and then come back. If I can't handle it, take a pause and wait for the solution. So I like what you brought up there, and I'm interested to know from the business standpoint. We were talking last week about how, with children coming off of school with Liz and Aaron, and this is about the business sector, even though both of you've had children, all those different things. How do you take the business side and come home and create tools at home that bring peace in the house now that you're home? Jennifer, why don't you go for it? Yep, you.
My kids don't live with me. They're all adults. So, I make sure that I reach out at least every couple days to say, hey, how are you doing? And how are things going in your life? Reconnecting and having that connection is important, even if it's only, the kids are off doing their own thing. And and they're not really concerned with what mom's doing too much, but yeah, I just feel that it's just important to stay connected to everybody, not even just your family, just friends and people that you care about. When you brought up, people are, they're missing. I mean, they're going through there's a lot of people out there that are going through a lot, and it'd be naive of us to deny the fact that there's a lot of people out there that are struggling right now, and it's just important for us to not just be grounded with who we are and the people that we choose to be around, but there's, the other people and people that really do need that help.
Yeah, understood. I think being with and seeing people where they are, meeting them where they are is an important part of it. And at home, like pausing and saying, okay, I've shifted from being at work and now I'm here and grounded in this space. Now, fortunately for me, it's always the same. Every day is every day. Like I don't shift just because it's the holidays and gifts and every day is exactly the same for me. So I'm just present in the moment. Yet I feel like, especially with people, when I was in that space of business or coaching, that I needed to come in, and sometimes I would give myself like time, even when I go on the road now, if Liz isn't with me. When I come home, I'll say, "Hey, look, when I first get home, I'm going to need a moment just to gather myself." And as what happened as soon as I started telling everybody I'm going to need this time, that time got shorter and shorter, and I no longer need the time, because now all of a sudden in real time it became all right, I need time. I need to get from here to here. And as I go from this place to this place, it took time. But then all of a sudden when I said it, time got shorter, and it just became, I already know. It becomes more automatic. So I love that space of understanding for myself what are the different things that I can put into motion that start to keep things happening quicker, because it's just a practice. It's all really a practice of peace for me. Pam, love to hear your take on this.
Is the question about leaving work behind, or is this? Tell me the question.
Behind, and not only leaving work behind, but now that you're home, how do you integrate back into the place and create that space with everybody of peace?
Yeah. Well, my kids are grown, but I can hear the kids next door, and so I'm reminded every day of what that was like. And because I've worked out of my house for 25 or more years now, I still was out in workplaces and coming back in. First of all, one thing was I had the same thing you've had. You walk in the door and you get 20 questions and calendar changes and this and that, and I just like blow my head off. But really, this time of year to me, my efforts in the past have been to create that space and time and attention on the family that's in the house in a different way, because everybody's in the house now 24/7, and to make plans to do things together, to connect with each other through activities, to connect and go to community things like going out and look at the Christmas lights together. Maybe I used to sit down and do things like, hey, let's all draw pictures and go up to the fire stations and, give them some cookies and some pictures to say thank you for your service. So there's such different kind of things you can do with your own family. And at the same time, not completely forget about the families that you manage or that are part of your company or your teams or, organizations that you're working with. And if there are people that are alone, or invite them over. If there are people that just need to check in, like a lot of people just need to be checked in on, just need to know, hey, they didn't forget me for a week or 10 days or whatever it was that we were out of the office. So it's a combination of all of those things.
Yeah, I love that. I know in football we always came back together. It was team and we talked about family a lot. Family, forget about me, I love you. Really getting connected to each other and saying, okay, this is me reaching out, because for me, like I said, every day seems the same for me. Like I'm present to it. I have my routines. I get up in the morning and I meditate and I do yoga at some point, and I'm out walking the beach, and then I'm doing my work that I need to do, and staying connected. And it's really why the wrinkles are the wrinkles that aren't the wrinkles. And it's like because I sit there and I've created this space for me, right? And now what's different for me though is staying in touch with everybody that I work with, knowing that they move differently than I. And everybody does. Everybody moves different in their own way. So I think it's important for me to be able to have that level of compassion and connection that allows me to see with everybody else just what it's like. So I agree with you, Pam, that making sure that I stay in touch with everybody that's involved in anything that I'm doing, so that we all move together and kind of keep that pulse going for each other. And so thank you for that. And as I look at this, one thing that always came up for me, especially because I've always lived. Once I left high school, I lived 13 hours away from my family. I went to Purdue. They lived in Maryland. I coached throughout the Midwest and often was just far away from the family that I would come see and that I grew up with, even though I had my own, family that I was growing with and all those things. And so that was different. But I know that inevitably when I would come home, there would come a time when there would be a tough conversation. It just to be like, oh, we're going back there again. And so I think, I don't know, unless my family's really weird, we would go back there again. Fortunately, we've gotten to a point where we now know we don't have to revisit those things that we left behind if we really left them behind. But I'd love to hear just, in a communications way, especially coming from business where you have to communicate with people that are not blood, and then coming back in and communicating with these people that we think we have to have forever because they are our blood, right? And so I'd love to hear, Pam, just how do you manage having conversations on both levels that way, especially during the holidays?
For me, there's been much more ease in the conversations around work. And the conversations with family at holiday time, or the things that are said, the judgments that are passed on, I've had to work really hard not to be reactive to those. And it's different with the family than it is in a workplace for me. And I think the family's been a tougher nut to crack in terms of finding that peace. But, back to the first question you asked, a lot of my work this year has been around that. It's been about bringing me to that place of peace where I'm not reactive in the family situations. But the technique would be to ask more questions of them if they pass a judgment or start into something old. Ask more questions of them about it. Be thought-provoking about it. Or just pause and you actually don't have to respond to everything everybody says. You can just listen. That's good. Anybody want a cookie?
Right. That's awesome. Jennifer, what do you think? And now I'm going to ask you to get really solid, real right now, because I know you moved through something in life right now. So what does it look like to have the tough conversations? You're on the spotlight.
So I just choose not to have them. I become a man and have selective hearing. just I'm just being real. I just if I have always had this ability to see the train wreck before the train wrecks, and I avoid them, and I'll just go the other way. I mean, I had to do this big family gathering, and I was like, oh, I can see, there's a lot of drama happening over there. I'm just gonna go this way, and then there's drama over there, and I find myself all scattered. But I don't really, I don't have too much drama in my family. Like I keep my bubble small for my children. Like it's just my children. I have to go see other extended family members, but I don't. That doesn't mean I have to participate in their negativity, and I just choose not to. And I think before, I mean, especially coming from a Polish family, I mean, they're just, but I just, yeah, the new me doesn't participate in the drama. And that's how I protect my peace. And, I like that you brought up compassion and empathy, having those tough conversations with people. I just feel that sometimes those tough conversations don't have to happen right now. They don't have to happen in the moment. I feel that we have to sit and think and sit in that and really just dig deep and say, is this even worth my time to even consider having a conversation about this? But I mean, if it's something serious, obviously. Oh, I got something popped up on my screen. Um, but I mean, honestly, I think the thing that I've always that I learned from you was that clearing. I start with that. And that kind of throws people off their axis. And they say, like, what do you mean clearing? And I just say, well, I have to get something off my heart and I have to clear it. And this is how I feel. And how do you feel on this? And then usually it comes as a productive conversation. It doesn't necessarily have to be hostile or mean. It can come from a loving place. So that's kind of how I counterbalance those situations for myself.
Yeah, I
And
like.
I'm also setting up the space for everybody to feel like they're in a safe space, to be able to share exactly how they feel, because I'm coming forward with a clear agenda and giving them the opportunity to speak so that I can hear how they feel and give that give that time and give it patience and all of those things that help us to evolve and clear that from all of us.
Well, I will say that with what you shared, there's like in one breath you started out saying, "Okay, I'm out of here. I'm not even having this conversation. It's drama. I'll see you later. Peace out." And then you evolved to, actually, I like to get clear. And for me, when I'm in those situations, it's like, okay, right now, I'm going to just listen. And here it was. We just got to see it in real time. You talking yourself through, whoa, wait a minute. I don't want to hear that. I'm out of here. To okay, now, all right, let's get clear. What's going on? This is what I feel, not what you made me feel, because no one can make anyone feel a thing. This is what I feel. And what do you feel? Okay, now where do we go? And I remember when I had a conversation with someone in the holiday season once, and it was like, oh, wait a minute, this sucks. Every time you come and you tell me how bad I'm looking or something's going on, I don't want to hear it. And this is what I feel like when you say that. And I don't think you actually drove for 3 hours to come see me just so you could make sure I feel bad. So this is what I feel when you do that. It's real. It's actually, it's not necessarily what that person even means to do. And the person came back and said, well, what am I supposed to do with that? I didn't mean for you to feel like that. You think I drove all this way just to have this, to see you, just to make you feel like this? But I come here for you. And it was like, okay, cool. Well, then if you keep coming with that same thing, that this is how I feel, then something's got to give. I think that's important for when I'm with family, especially to say, okay, this is how things are going. And now, if we want to continue on that same path, then let's keep doing that same stuff. If not, let's shift and see where we can go from here. And that always works for me. Like, is this the way that is working to get to where we want to go? My destination is peace, 100%. So then that looks like, whatever that is, if it's not peace, then I'm going to figure out a new way. We got the same person shows up late every time everybody's ready to eat. The same person shows up late. Well, guess what? I said this last time, well, let's do this. If they aren't here in 30 minutes, we're just going to go ahead and eat and we'll wait till they get here. They walked in and they act like nothing was wrong with everybody already eating. So we all had peace by moving differently than complaining about the person that's late. Like I see it like that. To have those conversations, sometimes you just got to say, okay, is this serving where we want to go? And if not, all right, what can we do to get to the solution? I'm a very solution-based person, especially when it comes to getting the peace. The solution will always take me to another place. So that's something that really shows up for me. And for people that may be struggling right now with family, any advice you got for them? We don't usually do advice, but oh, look who wants to give the advice. Jennifer, go for it.
Well, when you were talking, something came forward for me, and I was like, "Oh, this is good." I had seen a meme, and it says, "It is not our job to change our family. It is not our job to fix our family. It's our job to fix ourselves, and hopefully they follow along." And that's what I've seen for myself, is that, you know what, I struggled a little bit with, my children and them kind of not wanting to have anything to do with me because of the things that I was going through. But I've seen that as I've changed myself, now they all want to be around me, and I love it. And it's so important to understand it is not our job to fix other people. It's our job to fix ourselves and hope they follow along and jump on the train. And if they don't, you gotta go.
Right on, right on. And what you got?
Yeah, I just want to add in, connecting with ourselves and becoming who we are is so important. And knowing that, like, our influence, how I shift and how I change and become that person who can step back and listen, actually becomes a model or a lesson for other people. And, as I began my journey like 25 years ago, the first thing what I did for many, many years was just read books. Like, I was trying to crawl out of a deep depression, and I was reading that this was happening to other people. And in my real life, everyone looked the other way. But the reality I was learning about it was that it's human things I'm going through are very human. And they not only helped me to get better in touch with myself, but they helped me to connect with other people in my family and in my work environment that may be going through very human things as well. So I think getting out of living for other people's expectations takes a bit of bravery. But when you step back and do that, you kind of help lead the way for others to do the same, to get that connection with their self moving in the right direction.
I love that. And as I hear this, I really want this to be when someone watches this, because someone may watch this and they may be alone for the holidays. They may be going through something tough right now. And I want to give them something they can really say, okay, these are some steps I can do. And I'd love to hear what you all do in those tough moments that says, okay, where can I go? And one for me is, and someone can do this right now where they are. It's just plant your feet, stand up, and recognize where you are. So often I think people that are going through situations, they're trying to push the situation away and act like it's something else. And like move into this place that says, okay, I don't want to feel this grieving space, but actually plant your feet, stand up, and acknowledge where you are in the moment. Like really feel it fully and say, okay, this is what's going on inside of myself. And now on a cellular level, things happen in sevens. And so stand there after you've acknowledged where you are and take 7 conscious breaths, breathing in where you want to go in spirit and breathing out into creation of what you want. And just doing that 7 breaths as you cycle the breath in and out. And then when you're done with those 7 breaths, remember where you want to go. And like I said, mine's peace. Step over the line, the feet, where your feet are planted. Step as if you're stepping over a line and step into where you're going next. And let that come into you. Just want to give you some tools, some things to do where if you're with family and the arguments are happening, all right, take a moment, acknowledge where you are, acknowledge the feelings of things that are going on, take your 7 breaths of what you want to come into, and now step into it. And I think that's such a a great way. I learned that many, many years ago of how to do it from my grandmother. And now I don't even have to necessarily stop and say, okay, I'm taking 7 breaths. I know instantly, wait a minute, here's this feeling, something that has come in, and now I can take these breaths and move forward in a way that moves me to where I want to go. And I'd love to hear from you, Jennifer, if you've got something you want to share that people can add into their life practice.
Yeah, I really like what you said about, people that are grieving and, sitting in that space, because that space, sitting in it is healing, and healing is growth and moving forward. And it's so imperative. But at the same time, steps for me, I have to say this year's takeaway for me, it was monumental, in the growth for myself, was somebody, I think it was my marketing team, Farouk, or maybe it was you, had said, "How you wake up is how your day will go." So, I mean, my old routine would be, the first thing I would do as soon as I opened my eyes is grab my phone, and I'd go through my emails and my social media and all those things. And I've programmed myself, or I had to train myself to not do that, because that's a bad habit, because that's how you start off a day not in a good place. Emails and all those things. But the one thing that I do is I do a body scan, and I lay there, and I wake up scanning from head to toe, each and every inch of my body, all the way to my toes, to really get in alignment and in my comfort zone before I even put my feet on the floor. And that's my form of meditation. And I even do that before I go to bed at night, because I feel that that sets me up for a good night's sleep. But uh there's so many different things that I've learned this year that I've taken with me, but that was a huge one, because it is so true. How we wake up is how our day is going to move. And when you jump right up and you jump, like, people, I used to drag my knuckles to the coffee maker. I just be like, oh, I was not a happy person. But now I used to then pop out of bed, and, my routine was all messed up. But I tell you that doing that body scan and really getting inside of, what is happening, what is going on in my head, what is going on in my heart, what is going on in my soul, how does my body feel, it's really important. And it makes my day so much more. I wake up with I'm so grateful.
I love that. Now, you brought up something that really that I do all the time. I turn all electronics off. Now, and some people might be the, well, I need my phone for my alarm. No, you don't. If you're getting a good night's sleep, you wake up. I wake up at 4 a.m. No, there's no alarm. I'd wake up my wife if I set the alarm. So I do that. I turn everything off. Both my computers, both of my phones, they're completely off, which means even if I wanted to jump up and grab them and just turn them on and get active on my phone, they're off. So that's one. I love that you do that. Now, in addition to what you were saying about having a routine that you wake up to, we have 6,000 something thoughts that are going every day. And 85% of those thoughts are on repeat, and the majority of them are negative. Now, here's what I know. What I am thinking about before I go to bed is what the first thought is that I usually wake up with. So I like to program how I'm thinking when I'm going to bed. I'll take a glass of water. Actually, I usually have right over here my essential water. It's right outside of my bedroom, which is down that way. And what I'll do is I hold the water and I say to the water what I want that water to encompass in the cells of the water. Then I leave the water there. That's my last thought. And then I go to sleep. I wake up and I remember the thought that I was having putting into the water. That's a way for me to know, all right, your brain, you know when you're asleep, when you're dreaming. So you are aware of everything going on up in here. So I program myself before going down, which allows me to wake up, and then I sit right over there and meditate on what it is I want. Pam, what tools you got for us?
My big one is getting outside, exercising, and being in nature. And that really resets me. It's to me, it's always been exercise has moved me through such tough times. And it's all the chemical reactions you have in there, but it's also the force of being able to get out of the space I'm in, whatever that is, and just be on my own. And I used to be a runner. That doesn't happen anymore, but I bike and I walk, and I find such a safe space walking among the trees and the parks. And I live in a suburban area. It's not like I have a big forest near me, but I can find the spots of parks and things to walk through and to hang out and to kind of make a journey. Like, I'm going to hit these 3 today. And it is a place where I find so much peace, and I can feel my shoulders drop when I'm out in nature. And so there are days when I can't be out, and it affects my sleep, and it affects everything about my life when I can't get out there. And I just recently started to walk barefoot in the grass. That was like another step for me. And I hit my 21 day in a row doing it as a habit. And so I was out there again today, and it feels really good. It's one of those things that if I don't do it, even at 10 o'clock at night, I'm like, oh man, I can feel it. I didn't walk barefoot in the grass. And I'll run downstairs and I'll run out and I'll stand in the grass for a little bit. And one of my neighbors questioned me one day and said, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm great." So, but anyway, it's being outside, being in nature, being with the trees, the place of peace. It's a place I find that's peaceful and safe for me to be. And so, if you can't get into nature, even plants in your house are healthy for this. So, yeah, that's my big secret.
Question for you is, because you're entering snow season, what's it going to look like?
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Nice. I
Yeah,
love
the
it.
second it'll be 10 seconds or 20 maybe, but yeah, I'm going to do it.
Right, that's awesome. Now, here's the question. I'm just going to have fun because, it's holiday season. So I want to know your favorite. I'm going to do some favorite things. And here's the one. Your favorite dish, how do you make it? Who wants to go first? Go for it.
My favorite dish is strawberry cream cheese French toast. And it's like it sounds. It's French toast with cream cheese, and it's got a hot strawberry preserve and frozen strawberry thing on the top. And it's my favorite. It's easy, and everybody loves it.
Now, hold on. Do you take like big slices of bread, cut them in the middle, and stuff it in there, or is it?
No,
How do you
you
do it?
break up the bread. You can pick any kind of bread. The different kinds of breads, like challah bread, is one of the best. One time I did it with chocolate chip bread. So you break it up in little pieces, and then you do your egg mixture. You pour your eggs over it, and then I put some cinnamon on it, and then you put cream cheese amongst it, and then you bake it in the oven for 45 minutes or an hour, and it's done. And then the time that you're doing that, and I didn't know I was going to do a cooking show here, but you put the stove on the stove top, you melt the frozen strawberries and the strawberry preserve together, and then you have it all done. And if you want even more, you can put whipped cream on top of it.
Wow. I in my mind, I'm like, yes. Yet I've given up processed sugar for 2 years. So I'm gonna have to figure out how can I make this with dates and change it up. But I like it because I'm a cream cheese or cheesecake junkie. At least I used to be, as well as being from the South. I love key lime pie. Now I don't know if that will work for that yet. I don't know. It's gonna be just a dream for me. Jennifer, what do you got? What's your favorite dish?
Oh, there's a lot. I love to cook. I love to entertain. I mean, so we're doing Christmas with my daughter, and usually I go to North Carolina to my sons, and I've got a whole list of things that their favorites. But I would be in a lot of trouble if I didn't make my apple pies every year. I mean, usually I do it in the fall, but my apple pie is legit the best apple pie. And I brought up this apple pie, and I try to do it gluten-free. It actually was really, really good. Nobody even noticed. But yeah, I use like 5 different types of apples, and then I have this ooey gooey mixture over the apples that I pack on there, and then I put the crust on top and then bake it, and it's like this deep. And yeah, it's really good. And I'm
Okay.
not a pie
Here's the
person.
thing though, because it's one of the few things that I can go and get a dessert is an apple pie. Why? Because at Fresh Market, and they make great, they know I'm coming. They make it hot. They hand it to me and they're like, well, you really should wait for it to cool off, but we're going to give it to you because it's super hot. They know. Now, here's the trick with it though. It's an NSA. Do you know what that is? An NSA that you can go
Sugar
get at
added.
Fresh Market. No sugar added.
Yeah.
So, are yours sugar added or not? Because that's going to tell me whether or not I'm coming to your house.
Well, for you, I would make no sugar added, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I got it.
I mean, honestly, if you get really good apples, they're sweet already. You know, some are sour. I mean, I use some sour apples and some sweet apples. That's a nice, kind of complex
Right
thing.
on,
But
right on. I love it.
yeah, there's a lot of sugar in that one and butter. It's
I mean,
definitely
I'm
not
good with butter. Butter's good. I'm just not messing with that.
diet for sure.
That sugar's like, death
Yeah,
death in a pocket.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the holidays. You gotta give yourself.
No.
Well, I mean, well,
I
for
still want to
you,
live in the holy days.
what-
The holy
I-
days don't mean that I just want to die and kick it. I want
right.
to live and live well. And so I'm coming for my NSA soon. Well,
Everything
no, actually, when you move down here, I expect an NSA pie. Period. Exclamation
I don't
point.
know. You might like Gwunki better, but that's stuffed cabbage. It's Polish.
Oh no, I'm an apple pie guy.
But Pam, I want one of those things there, and you can overnight it. I'll send you my address.
Awesome. All right,
That's
here's the
amazing.
next question. Next question. Favorite game that people should play over the holidays? Jennifer, go for it. You're first. Pam went first last time.
Oh well, you know me and charades. Charades is the game. My best friend found this game. It was really funny. He's like, "This is what we should play," and you blindfold people, and you have dollar bills all over the table with mouse traps. I was like, "That's just cruel, but it would be fun."
Well, I mean, if you're gonna do that, you got to put like hundreds down or
Well,
something.
that's what I said. I said they better be hundreds because I gotta get my nails fixed after that. But yeah, charades is definitely one, and we do the headbands one. So you have to flip your phone, and it records it, so you can see how goofy you looked after. But I was like, I'm very charismatic and pretty. I'm a character, so yeah. Usually my daughter's like, I'm on mom's team.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Pam, what's your game?
Oh man, I don't do a whole lot of games, but the one thing that I think of at the holiday season is ping pong. We used to play a lot of ping pong on the holiday season. And if you want to talk about a tabletop game, Monopoly is always a good one. Everybody likes to get rich and buy up all those beautiful properties. But a lot of it in the past couple of years with my kids growing up has been new games that they brought into the house. And I can't even think of the names of them, but some of them we only play once because I don't know all the lingo and stuff. And so they're like, all right, that was fun, Mom. We'll move on from there. Yeah, I can't even think of the names of the games. But anyway, I do like to try to keep up with what the kids are playing these days, young and old. So yeah, thanks.
Well, I just like playing games, and life is really a game for me. So I have a lot of fun with life. And the games that really land for me, well, I love playing Mancala, but that's an easy game. Like you have to strategize a little bit. You move around in the cups with the marbles, blah, blah, blah. Chess is something that I've started playing when I was 6. So chess, I can play chess. I actually play against myself often. Like, what's going to be the best move to beat myself? Because often, that way at least I learn how to lose because I don't really lose at chess too often. And really, I'm just open to all games. So we're going to game night this holiday season. We've been told we're invited to game night. We'll see what kind of games they play because I don't drink. So there's that. So there's no drinking games, but I'm pretty sure they'll play charades, So you all have a great rest of your holiday season. I really appreciate both of you for being part of my life and just continue to move this forward. I think our conversations are great for people to tune in. If they come away with one thing, it's really awesome. So thank you both. And what would you like to leave everyone with? A closing statement of any sorts? And Pam, why don't you go for it?
Yeah, thank you, Sid. And thank you for this opportunity to be here with you and Jennifer. It's been fun. And when you play chess by yourself, do you switch sides of the table to decide if you won it? Okay. Yeah, just had to check out that detail. What I would say in final words is just how important it is for each person to look inside themselves and not to let other people pass judgments on them that they carry with them, but to feel into who they are and take time to do that and make that connection solid, because you really become so much more solid on your own feet in every part of your life once you've begun to do that. And you do it for, you start that down that path and you keep getting elevated to different and different levels in that growth. So yeah, that's kind of my gift. I hope everybody can look inside and find a more authentic part of themselves that they love and embrace it and carry it forward.
Love it.
I love that. I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, and a magical New Year. And just kind of everybody needs to, like she said, look inward and work on themselves and come up with a game plan on how to move forward and move in a way of positivity for everybody, not just for you, but also to be grateful for these times, even during the hectic times of the monotony of celebrations and family. They're not always going to be here. And there was a conversation that I had with my daughter. Someday we're going to look back and go, wow, I could have spent more time with that person when I no longer have time. And don't live in regret, guilt, and shame of those moments that you did miss, but embrace those moments, even if they're not that great, in the moment, because someday you will embrace those moments and they will be something to laugh about later.
Awesome. Well, thank you both, and have a blessed rest of your day and evening wherever you are. And thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. And as we move through and head out to what's next, at this point, we've gone through 3 months. It's the end of the third month. And right now you're on lesson 12. Lesson 12 is what's important now. Win at everything. What's important now? Lou Holtz said it when I was coaching. I heard him say that and it hit me in my heart. What's important now, right in the moment of where you are, and then bringing that forward. And also, if you're looking for something, which we all usually are, head over to artofpeacefulliving.com and check out all the things we have going for you. We haven't talked much about that because I really just wanted to teach peace and help people see it. But this is an opportunity for you to head down. You can click on things that help you find inner peace for yourself, and then also for your business and how to spread peace. And we've got a lot of different things. All the people that are here, they're here as experts in their field and also in many other things. So check them out, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year. Thanks a lot, and have a beautiful rest of the year. Peace.